How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry. But this time, it's Chapter 2, not Chapter 1, and you can tell because the backdrop here is completely different. It's totally different, which means this is a completely different game. I think. I'm not exactly sure. I have really no idea what sort of direction we're going to be going in here. I think what's going to happen is that instead of it being a direct continuation, we use the knowledge that we acquired in the first chapter, take it over here to the second chapter, and, you know, as the viewer, we kind of just follow a somewhat different, I guess, course of events. Maybe. I really don't know. I obviously have not looked into this, which I think is for the better. Keep myself very blind to this adventure, which I'm sure, just like the first chapter, will be extremely lighthearted and full of hugs and kisses. Totally no bloodshed. Totally no freaky ass cult shit. I think it'll be a fantastic blast. And jokes aside, I'm hoping that it will be a fantastic blast. Probably not in the nicest way, but whatever. Before we actually jump in, though, I'd like to credit and say thanks to the person who got this for me. I did not actually buy this one. I didn't really buy the first chapter either, but that one was free. I don't know if it still is free, but if it is, definitely go get the first chapter on Steam. But anyways, Chapter 2 here was gifted to me, by miniSaren. I think that's how you pronounce their name. So thank you, miniSaren, for the copy of this game. And if any of you guys ever want to buy me games, by all means, I guess. That doesn't mean I'll play them, but I'll definitely take them. But anyways, let's jump into this adventure. I'm actually really excited to continue this on. It's been a while. I've, been able... What the fuck? All right. I've been able to take a little bit of a step back, get myself nice and mentally and emotionally prepared, hopefully, for whatever is about to happen. Because definitely coming to the end of Chapter 1, there was just so much occurring that it was really hard to keep up and understand what was actually happening. There was a lot that was occurring on the surface that was hard to understand. Therefore, there's a lot underneath that's really just, pulling the strings, if that makes any sense. All right. So, Watanagashi. Hopefully I don't mispronounce that like I used to. The Most Possibilities. Cotton Drifting Chapter. Don't know what that means. How was your taste of life in Hinamizawa? A curse or a conspiracy? I believe you have fully enjoyed everything and everyone seeming suspicious. Yeah, that is kind of how it went down. Here at last, it is no surprise attack, but a real direct incident. Please enjoy it. The difficulty is lower than Onikakushi, but extremely vicious. I wouldn't even say that the difficulty, if that's what you want to call it, in the first chapter was all that terrible. I mean, there were some surprises. Eventually, the fear that I felt in the game was more towards the environment and what the characters were doing and how they were acting, and less about their actions overall. Like, sure, they were being murderous and all that, but I guess that was just to be expected after a while. Oh, okay, I don't like that. I think that was the same thing that happened in the first chapter. I guess it should be without... Oh, hold up. I will not quench your thirst, for you seek the truth and could not accept that. I will not quench your thirst, for the truth you desire does not exist, but I still want to quench your thirst, for I am the one who cast you into the desert. All right. This is a work of fiction. Yes, it is. AD 1983, the early summer of the 50th year of the Shouwa era. I don't know if we got that last time. Well, you know what? Maybe we did. I guess it was kind of necessary to have some sort of time frame as to when all of this was taking place. Hopefully my settings carried over. So, actually, yeah, wait a minute. Hold up. Before we actually really get into this, fingers crossed that the sound settings are close to what they were in the first chapter. I tried to mimic the sliders. I mean, I can't get it exact, but I tried to get the sound settings where they were, so if the sounds are a little off, definitely let me know. And I did install the 07th mod yet again. Link in the description for that. Full credit to all of those people that created that mod and prepared that for the game. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hopefully that is installed correctly, as people were suggesting that I actually use the old soundtrack and not the new soundtrack that was put into the game in like 2019 or some shit. So hopefully that's all set up correctly. If it's not, let me know. I'll go back in at some point, and try to fix it. Or I'll just completely forget, and Chapter 2 will be just like Chapter 1. And apologies in advance if that's the case. The chirping of birds served as my alarm clock. Ah, the old room. It's been a while. Huh? Wasn't today Sunday? Wasn't it basically my style to stay up late on Saturday and sleep through the morning on Sunday? Why was I waking up at this disgustingly wholesome hour? Back to sleep, back to sleep. Yeah, fuck being awake. I hate it when that happens, in all honesty. That's been happening more and more for me. At that moment, the sound of my mother calling me from downstairs finally registered. Phone call? I sprang out of bed abruptly and stampeded noisily down the stairs. Who's calling us on this Sunday morning, this wholesome hour, if you will? He's awake, I'll put him on right now. My mother informed the person on the other end of the line. Ah, yes, we're back at it. And yes, this music does sound a little different. Volumes are a little weird, at least for the music and the voices. It was 11 o'clock. Yeah, wait a minute. The music does sound a little louder than I remember it being. Yeah, this is where I have everything hopefully identical or somewhat identical. I don't know. Hopefully it's good enough in that you guys can hear everything clear and I can hear me clear and everything is well. It was 11 o'clock. I guess you could loosely consider that the middle of the day.
Good morning, Kei-chan. 日本語で言うならおはよう、Kei-chanってとこかな。
ついでに中国語とドイツ語とロシア語でも言ってみろ。
ニーハオ、Kei-chan。グーテンモルゲン、Kei-chan。ロシア語？ダズビダーニャ。知るわけないでしょ。
How the hell do you know the other ones?
まあいいや。
Well, I guess Chinese is really common.
バカな話してたら目が覚めた。
I guess German is too.
そりゃ結構なことで。
The ways of saying good morning, that is.
でさ、ケイちゃん今日暇？ケイちゃんが大丈夫なら全員揃うんだけどな。
Everybody? Did she mean all the club members?
そうだよ。まあ普段の激戦を思えば休日くらいのどかになんて思ってるかもしれないけど、そりゃ甘いよケイちゃん。
へいへい。あらゆる環境に対応して最善手を模索するのが我がつまり休日だろうとお構いなしってわけだ。
おお、ケイちゃんも我が部のことが分かってきたね。でどう？これさ。
I had absolutely nothing planned that day. If I were to refuse Club President Mion's invitation, what other fun ways to pass the time would I have?
別に予定なんかねえし、嫌だって言ったら不先輩扱いでどんな罰ゲームを課せられるやら。
そこまで分かってるなら断れないよね。もし OK ならいつもの待ち合わせ場所に1時集合。街へ行くから自転車で来てね。
Huh, alright. Club activities in town. Well, we could do them anywhere. Besides, since it was a new venue, there was no way this wasn't going to be intense, excuse me.
おとといの赤杯かなり根に持ってるからね。今日ははっきり言って負けないよ。
A couple of days ago was Friday's club activities. That uncompromising poker match. It was a fight to the death. Nobody held back. Nobody could tell who was in the lead or who was last until all the points were tallied. In the end, I won by only one chip. Mion came in second. Damn it. To think, if I hadn't squandered that one chip, Mion lamented thus, perhaps more so that than the fact she lost the match. Excuse me, Mion doesn't lose, and that's why Mion only whined when she let the champion's throne slip through her fingers. And that's why she was more frustrated than anybody over a close loss. So, did she mean for today to be a grudge match?
上等だ。おととい同様、一気に畳んで罰ゲームさせてやるぜ。せいぜい自分がやらされても辛くない内容にしとくんだな。
そうこなくちゃ。潰しがいがないもんね。
After that, we exchanged jeers for a bit before hanging up the phone. As I headed back upstairs hastily to get the key to my bike, I jumped into my mother, as she was carrying a futon down.
あら、ケイチ。上機嫌みたいね。お出かけ？
そんなとこ、俺、みんなと街に遊びに行ってくるから。
行ってらっしゃい。車に気をつけるのよ。夕飯までには帰ってくるのよ。
へいへい、ちゃんと帰ってくるって。
We did a poor ass job looking out for traffic in the last game. Yeah, the music definitely is different. And I mean, it's nice. I never had an issue with the music in the first game. I just feel like it's loud. It might just be me. But if it's not that clear, if you guys didn't know, the first game was supposed to be centered around Rena, you know, being creepy and all that. I guess the creepy one here is going to definitely be Mion, which we saw a little bit of in the first game. I will say. There's got to be more to it, more to her backstory, more to who she is, and I'm sure we'll learn more about that. Just like we did with Rena, we got her backstory of how fucking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs she was back at her old school. So I'm sure this will be a fun time here with Mion. After unlocking the chain from my bike in the garage, I revealed a bit and the resistance the slightly stiff pedal gave as I pushed on it. Alright, let's go. I set off on my bike, cutting through the refreshing morning air.
Oh, 待たせたな。
I'm so glad these guys aren't trying to kill me at this point.
あれ、サトコとリカちゃんは？
あの二人はここで待ち合わせるより直接街で合流した方が早いよ。
Ah, I see. If I remember correctly, Sadako and Rika-chan's houses were on the other side past the school.
そうそう。街で部活ってどういうことだよ。まさかみんなで覆面をして日が暮れるまでにいくつ銀行が襲えるかっていうのじゃねえだろうな。
Masks?
別にそれでもいいけど。それでも私は負けないけどね。
みーちゃんってね、なぜか現金輸送車の順路とか時間とかをいつもレナに教えてくれるんだよ。
Huh?
なんでだろうね。なんでだろうね。
What? I spun around with a serious look on my face and looked at Mion. Well, it certainly seemed possible that Mion was capable of doing that.
マジかよ、ミオン。
レーナー！パンダ、何言ってんの？
みーちゃんごめんね。みーちゃんごめんね。
The two of them joked around. That bright laughter was the best match for a beautiful day like today.
おい、二人とも。サトコとリカちゃんが先に待ってるんだろ。じゃれてないで早く行こうぜ。
Around and around, fooling about like two fluttering butterflies. I earnestly wish I could just keep watching them like this. But the five of us together would be absolutely more fun.
そうだね。じゃあ行こっか。
And possibly headache
目標
inducing.
は10億強奪。山分けしたらみんなで高飛びだぜ。
Some GTA shit. The three of us on our bikes headed over the gently sloping hill towards town. Accelerating hard, we crested the hill. The view expanded as Okonomiya Station came into sight. I occasionally come to the station here. Considering the amount of effort it takes to get here though, it was quite a hassle. And that's why I didn't know much about the area around the station, or Okonomiya itself for that matter. The street we were headed down today was of course unfamiliar to me as well. Going through the railway crossing, we headed past the south end of the station.
こっち側は来るの初めてだな。
こっちにはね、ゲームセ ターとかおもちゃ屋さんとかがいろいろあるの。みーちゃんが詳しいよ。
ゲーセンもあるのか。俺前は結構通ってたからな。ゲーマーの血がうずくぜ。
ゲーセン通いなんてケイちゃん不良だね。今度来た時に案内してあげるよ。結構台数を揃えたいい店があるから。
It seemed like the town of Okonomiya was Mion's stomping grounds. If I asked her, she could tell me a lot of things about it. I wish I went to an arcade regularly. Eventually, we came across a store with quite a few bikes parked in front of it. Was this the arcade? No, it was a smaller shop. Looking at the window display, it seemed like your everyday toy shop. But for almost 10 kids to be filing in and out of the store, they were doing almost too well for themselves.
ひょっとしてあの店で今日何かイベントでもあるのか。
その通り。優勝賞金は5万円。
5万円？なんだよそれ。ケイチ王国の5年分の GNP に匹敵するぞ。
Two cute figures messing about the front of the store noticed us and waved their hands.
皆様方、お待ちしてましたよ。おはようございますなのです。
I can't wait until they're the focus of the next two chapters. I'm assuming, you know, one of them will be chapter 3, the other will be chapter 4, and they'll be trying to kill us. That'll be such a great time.
おはようリカちゃん。さあとこ、警察が来る前にケリをつけるぞ。
And then in the 5th chapter, it'll be our mother. The 6th, it'll be our father. The 7th will be the detective, and the 8th will actually just be us trying to kill ourselves.
目標は10億強奪だ。
ケイチさんの話がわかりませんわ。
Well, you know what? Maybe the 8th will be our instructor. The 9th will be ourselves.
遅くなったかな。リカちゃんたちは今来たの？今日は早く終わったのでだいぶ待ってましたですよ。
そりゃあ悪いことしたわ。こっちはケイちゃんがなかなか来なくてさ。
ケイチでは仕方ありませんですよ。
Saying that, Rika-chan stretched up and began patting Mion's head. Hey, wait a minute. Are you solving everything by making me the bad guy?
もちろん。ケイチさんでなくては務まらない大役でしたよ。
実に嫌な大役だな。こんなので丸く収まると思ったら大間違いだぞ。
I was feeling slightly irritated, so I began to repeatedly smack Sadako on the head. Yeah. Child abuse.
ケイチにいじめられてかわいそうですよ。
Yeah, that's it. Just a shame.
さとこちゃん泣いてる。お持ち帰り。悪い人はレナお姉ちゃんがやっつけてあげるからね。
Yep. Rena ecstatically wiped the tears, which were probably fake, from Sadako's face, while Rika-chan gently patted mine as I lay sprawled on the ground. Yes, this is fine. This is how it be.
これが正しい丸い収め方だよな。
Damn, it feels good to be back.
前歯が欠ける前に新しいオチを探した方がいいと思うけどね。
Well then, upsie daisy. In any case, the greeting for today went well. You call that well? Inside the toy shop, there were about 10 boys around the same age as me. Apparently, they all knew Mion, and finding out that she had arrived, they greeted her with jeers, a few at a time.
みーちゃんはこのおもちゃ屋さんの常連なの。
There's a lot of interesting stuff here. You got some weird shit over here on the left. You have some, oh wow, you have a construction shit there at the bottom. You have a doll on top of it. You got a playhouse over there on the left. There's a giant-ass penguin on that. There's a stuffed dog in the background. Man, this is just really a collective of a little bit of everything.
だから友達もすっごく多いの。
I guess as is a toy shop would be.
おもちゃ屋の常連って何なんだ？
ほらケイチさん、奥をご覧なさいませ。
Following Sadako's prompting, I took a look. and there were chairs lined up at tables, almost like some sort of birthday party. I realized it immediately.
まさかこれって部活の会場なのか？
驚いたかい、ケイちゃん。私、この店のおじさんと仲良しでね。たまに客寄せイベントってことで、ゲーム大会を開かせてもらってるんだよ。
Yeah, it's not really unusual for like, not necessarily toy stores, but stores in my area that, you know, sell whatever of this sort of stuff, like cards and whatnot, dice, other things. They usually have these sort of tables set up so that you can game it on, you know? Expand his customer base, I see. Meaning all the boys livening up the place were participants. Livening.
そうなの。
Sorry, I'm really stupid.
いつもは5人だけど、今日はもっともっと大勢での部活なんだよ。
Rena was innocently happy about being able to play with so many people, but my expression grew noticeably stern.
ケイチさんの考えてること、手に取るように分かりましたよ。
ほう。じゃあ試しに行ってみようか。言うぞ。せーの。
These are all enemies. Sadako's voice and mine blended together in harmony. We looked over at the participants. After all, the top prize was 50,000 yen. My eyes lit up like a flame.
ね、ケイちゃん。今日は楽しめそうでしょ？
まあな。ライバルが何人増えようが狙うものに変わりはないさ。
ライバル？はあ、ケイちゃん。クジラが水を飲むとき、今飲んだ水の中に何匹シラスが混じっていたか、いちいち数えてると思う？
She said that in an unpleasant voice, laughing with the aggressive glint in her eyes reserved solely for club activities. Damn it, Mion. She's as serious as she can get today.
本気なのは私だけじゃないよ。ほら、リカちゃんを見てごらんよ。
Mion pointed, looking at where her finger directed me.
なんだありゃ。
Rika-chan was using those kinds of traits to soften up the group with an almost excessive pleasantness.
僕も頑張るのですよ。ファイト、王なのです。ファイト、王！
Completely emasculated, the group joined Rika-chan in a cheer. The inside of the store had been consumed by the world of Rika-chan. Damn, she's already chomping at the bit.
今日は楽しくなりそうだね。頑張るよ。はうわ。
It seemed that Rena was also unusually fired up by the large crowd. Hopping about and running around, she had entered entirely into Kiyute mode. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. In Rena's case, the real fun starts when her tension gauge fills up. Her happy-go-lucky attitude belied the fact that this was the state in which she was the most threatening, Mion was making small talk with some of the regular customers she was acquainted with. It was like business as usual with her. Now, of course, if anybody thought that Mion looked ordinary, then they were not qualified to be in our club. The shadow beneath her feet was exuding killer instinct, rising up like a chill wind.
ミヨンめ、恥も外部も捨てるくらいに本気だな。
ケイチさん知らないんですの？賞金の5万円、ミオンさんの自腹でしたよ。
Oh, interesting. She was putting out the 50,000 yen all by herself. At that moment, a dark miasma that warped Mion's surroundings began to appear.
ん？何？ケイちゃん。私の顔に何かついてる？
Now, just the visuals being weird again, that's all. A shiver crept up my spine. That Mion, cornering herself like that, she was pulling out the demon lurking within her. Fine with me. Damn it, my knees are shaking like crazy. We're just getting prepared for the real stuff later on. Before I realized it, the store had filled up with even more people. However, the looks in their eyes were confrontational, or weren't confrontational. They were looks of expectation and curiosity. They were the eyes of onlookers who were wondering what kind of match was going to occur and who was going to win.
最高の舞台じゃねえか。面白くなってきやがったぜ。
ケイチ君頑張ろうね頑張ろうねはう
Rena was already fully charged. Mortal laws and common sense held no power before the might of Rena and her Keiut mode. I definitely didn't want to fight her if possible.
リカちゃん頑張れ僕たち応援してるよ
はい
This is weird.
頑張りますですよ
Rika-chan, who was exuding way too much charm no matter how you looked at it, had already won over most of the onlookers to her side. Nonchalantly avoiding things had always been Rika-chan's creed, but for her to be blatantly laying out her machinations like this, something was definitely strange. Like Rena, she was somebody who I didn't want to fight if I could help it. I know, her chapter's gonna fucking suck.
一番戦いたくないのはミオンさんですけどね
And not in a bad way, you know, it's gonna be difficult.
何度か部活で奴と視線をくぐったが
Just remember, guys, if we learned anything with Rena's route, the most innocent is always the most scary.
今日ほどヤバいと思う日はないぜ。
ミオンさん一昨日のポーカーで負けたの相当根に持ってるみたいでしたよ
Oh yeah, I assumed.
らしいな。つまり今日はミオンの復讐のための特設部隊ってわけだ。
Almost as though she were psychic, Mion turned towards us. Her eyes silently conveyed the message, you guys just figured that out now? It wasn't just Mion. Both Rena and Rika-chan were more pumped up than they'd ever been. Yeah? One's gonna pop up today. Without a doubt, there will be casualties.
私とケイチさんがなんとなく置いてきぼりですわねいかがでございましょうなんでしたらスマートに初戦をお手合わせ願えませんかしら
What the fuck are we even playing?
そうしよっか。俺もエンジンがかかるまで鳴らしよし。
My spinal column shuddered like it had been struck by a bolt of lightning, and like a pillar of ice was being jammed into it, began to freeze. I could almost see the flames backlighting Sadako with their intensity. Even then, while Sadako was displaying a normal smile, it was cold and inhuman, almost as if it were a plastic mask. Damn visuals getting inverted like that.
そんなに俺を初戦で消したいかよ。さっきが隠せてないぜ。
あら残念ですわねケイチさんにしてはなかなか慎重でしたよ
Without a doubt, it was a trap. I don't know what she has up her sleeve, but if I fought with Sadako during the opening round, my loss would be more certain than if I went against Mion. I don't know about that. A pitch-black miasma permitted the inside of the store. I don't know if there's a right way to say things that I already incorrectly say. Did they all want to win that 50,000 yen prize that much? No, that's not right. The only ones competing for the prize money were the casual participants. I was different. I had mistaken this as just a way to fool around on a normal Sunday. It didn't matter when it was, or where it was, or who our opponents were. In our club, the goal is always the very top of the mountain. An intense flame that no strong winds could extinguish, hot enough to melt any steel, began to burn inside me. The fuse had been lit on this unprecedentedly intense club battle. It was then that the owner of the store told Mion in a, lackadaisical voice that it was about time to begin.
みんないいかな慶長慶長
Mion began with the formalities, standing in for the owner, and explained the rules of today's tournament. You're only playing to win. There is no second or third place. That's the same rule as our club. There were 15 people participating. We were to split up into 5 groups via a draw, and each group would have one winner. Each winner in the first stage would advance to the next in order to compete in the final.
さて各卓の競技方法なんだけどこれは各卓で好きに決めていいよこのお店にあるゲームなら何を使っても OK
Already in club mode DEFCON 1, I didn't let the small gap in the rules go unnoticed.
ミオン、質問いいか？みんな自分の得意ゲームを主張して決まらないんじゃねえのか？
はあ、そうだね。決まらないと始められないね。
The spectators also nodded along. It was only natural. There wasn't anybody who could simply cede to their opponent's suggestion.
紳士的に決めてほしいけど、そういう時は店のマスターが決めるってのでいい？
It was an event at a toy store after all. You'd expect the owner to referee. After that, Mion's rundown continued. It ended with the rule that any losing participants would have to buy the game they lost at. A rather nice proposition for the store. Yeah, it is actually. Wait a minute. Okay, so that's where we're gonna wrap it up. I know, in the middle of a wild and crazy start to this, but I try to shoot for 30 minutes. That's how it be. But let's save the game here in one of our way too goddamn many save slots, of course. And next time we'll jump right into the madness. We'll actually jump into our first club match. You know, as is normal tradition, if you will. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you again to miniSaren for getting this for me. I really do appreciate that. I hope you all are ready for another fun adventure here with Higurashi. I know I am. Until it gets creepy, of course. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you'd like to be informed and ready to go with more Higurashi and whatever else I upload here on the channel. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.